Months ago, the Trump campaign officially announced its first rally since the pandemic, confirming that the president will hold a rally next Friday in Tulsa at a venue that can hold 19,000 people. And get this, anyone attending must agree to the following disclaimer. This is already there. By clicking register below, you are acknowledging that an inherent risk of exposure to COVID-19 exists in any public place where people are present. By attending the rally, you and any guests voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure to COVID-19 and agree not to hold Donald J. Trump for President, Inc., the BOK Center, ASM Global, or any of their affiliates, directors, officers, employees, agents, contractors, or volunteers liable for any illness or injury. That is what the campaign is putting out and asking its attendees to these rallies to agree to.
Just to be clear, Trump is having his rally attendees sign a liability waiver so that when these rallies inevitably become super spreaders of the virus, his campaign won't be held accountable. Ultimately, he doesn't care if his supporters die, so long as they can clap for him first. The fact is that while Trump has just unilaterally decided that coronavirus is over and we can reopen the economy, none of the facts back that up. We haven't contained the spread. There were more cases on June 10th in the United States than there were on March 29th. And in many states, that number is still going up, not down. Hospitalizations are up in more than a dozen states. Austin, Texas is inching closer to reaching its hospital capacity. And so while clear and decisive guidance from the President of the United States might be helpful right about now, all we're getting are mission accomplished banners and a president only interested in getting businesses back open so he'll have his booming economy talking point to use in the next election. This is the same story since day one of this outbreak, when Trump claimed that the virus was completely contained, that cases would soon be down to zero, that it would go away with the heat in April, that it would miraculously disappear, that anyone who needs a test could get a test, and on and on. The only strategy, the only game plan since the very beginning was to deny. And now, with cases yet again on the rise, Trump's plan is exactly the same. Only now, he's putting his own rally attendees at risk. Because let's be clear, these rallies are exactly the type of scenarios in which the virus spreads. We've seen coronavirus spread, ironically enough, at protests against the stay-at-home orders. We've seen it spread at CPAC, where Trump himself was present. And rest assured, the same thing will happen at these campaign rallies, meaning that Trump is knowingly putting his supporters in danger because he's just that desperate for their applause. By the way, that is somehow not the only issue with this rally. Consider the fact that this first campaign rally in months comes in the aftermath of Trump positioning himself squarely against the Black Lives Matter protests, and takes place in the city of the Tulsa Race Massacre that occurred 99 years ago. And it does so on Juneteenth, the date commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. If you don't think there's any historical significance to hosting a rally in that specific city where people of color were massacred on that specific date in the aftermath of these specific protests, which Trump has expressly come out against, then you're not paying attention. And of course, his advisors will suggest that it's just a coincidence. Kind of like how Trump quoting a racist police chief from the 1960s by saying, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts," during a protest about race was just a coincidence. And invoking the word bloodlines in reference to famed anti-Semite Henry Ford was just a coincidence. And claiming there were fine people on both sides in Charlottesville, despite the fact that one side had neo-Nazis on it, was just a coincidence. At some point, when these so-called coincidences keep happening, suddenly they don't seem like coincidences anymore. And rest assured, Trump and his mouthpieces will unquestionably deny that holding a rally in Tulsa on Juneteenth has anything to do with the historical significance. Instead, they'll just claim that this is the obvious choice to launch the official restart of his campaign in the crucial swing state of Oklahoma. And look, underneath the racism and the disdain for his own fans is the issue that has underscored the entirety of the Trump presidency, and that is that he cannot exist without a constant stream of adulation and praise. His whole presidency isn't about governing, it's not about helping people, it's not about making the country better, it's about massaging his ego through whatever means possible. And if that means he's willing to put his own supporters in a situation where they could die, well, apparently that's a risk that he's willing to take. If you like that video, please check out my brand new podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll cover the most important political stories of the week and interview major players in the world of politics. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check it out and subscribe now.